You are like a video game character. Now, that might sound a little weird, but hear me out here. You're going through different stages of life, sure. You are taking on different missions and different tasks as you progress, and you are, of course, leveling up as you go. Now, it's important that you still take on the main quest and don't let life just happen to you, but you also want to be able to enjoy the side quests and use those to the best of your ability. But keeping everything simple, let's dive into improving your life and how you can change it starting today. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to the Keeping Everything Simple podcast. I'm your host and fellow student, Michael Klukas, and on this show, we boil down complicated topics into simple, actionable tips. I love Legend of Zelda, so honestly, that's going to be our example of the day here, using Link as kind of my point of reference for why your life should be leveled up as you go, and why that means difficulty comes with the progression too. So first and foremost, you have to understand that for anything you want to do, there is going to be a tutorial section. What that looks like is going to vary by what you're actually attempting to do. As you're just getting into like college, there's often like these college 101 classes where you are getting the lay of the land. You are being told how the different offices work. You're being told how grading might work. You're just being told all this information up front because you are getting the tutorial information. Same thing when you start your first job. You have your orientation, you have your training period. The first 90 days, in most circumstances, that's kind of like are we a good fit? Are we not a good fit? Which could be good or bad, but that is also considerably a training period. So when you enter these tutorials, you will start out ill-equipped. You are learning the ropes. It's essentially like when you get your first sword in Legend of Zelda. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. It's dangerous because you don't know what the right procedure is. It's dangerous because maybe it actually is physically dangerous if you went to a trade job at some point. The thing is, it's important that you know you will not have all the right skills. You'll not have all the right tools in the beginning, but that's only the beginning because you will progress and you will learn as you go. And that's why it's again important to know that you will consistently level up, but in the beginning, everyone starts from the same spot. Even if someone has more innate talent or is more gifted towards one aspect of it, you all start from being learners and students first and foremost. And then not only that, it's important that you are finding the right people to ask the right questions to, because for so many of us, we are either afraid of looking dumb, we are either afraid of asking what we think is a stupid question, but more often than not, if we have an obvious question, someone else in that room probably does too, and so asking it is to the benefit of everybody. Now, of course, there's going to be some people that say, okay, why would you ask that? Like, do you not just get it? Quote unquote, get it? Now, that can happen, sure. However, in most circumstances, if you're going through introduction tutorials and whatnot throughout any stage of life, more often than not, you want to ask these questions because if you don't, you're going to be left holding the bag and wondering what's actually going on. And so when you find the right people to ask the right questions to, they will not only speed up your ability to get the lay of the land, to understand what's going on, but they will also be the ones that you know you can come back to later for extra guidance. Consider it to be like the Great Deku Tree. So, Ocarina of Time, Great Deku Tree is the one that sends Link out on his mission, and he's the one that you can come back to and ask questions of as you are progressing. Now, of course, there's other people you can do it too, but it's kind of like the easiest, biggest example because he is the first one that you end up finding because he is the first temple you have to conquer. But that's what makes it so important that you do get okay asking questions, because if you don't, you will figure it out most likely. However, you want to be able to make the most of the resources around you, and that includes people, because those of us who are further along or those who are there to distinctly help, that is what we want to see. We want to see you guys level up. We want to see you progress. And questions are one great way to do that. Another important thing to note here in the idea of tutorial phases in life is that it is okay, and I mean completely okay, to get sidetracked. When I say sidetracked, I am kind of referring to, hey, let's go break some pots. Let's go terrorize some villagers, apparently. But no, what I'm meaning in terms of your day to day life is as you are trying to improve the different aspects of your life, you are going to get sidetracked. You are going to find little mini wins that you are going to want to pursue, or you will be going and finding the most ridiculous reason to procrastinate. Maybe it's, oh, wow, I haven't done the dishes all week. Let me just do those. That's fine. But then it parlays itself into, oh, wow, I haven't swept all week. You never sweep. I'm going to do that right now, too. Or it could be, wow, I have a pile of paperwork on my desk that I haven't gotten through all week. I'm just going to take an online training. It's okay to get sidetracked and just do something else, either for the fun of it, either for the little bit of mental escape that it gives you, or just to level up another aspect of your life. But you always have to complete the tutorial still and move forward, because if you don't, then you are stuck in the beginning stages rather than learning and progressing with a clear sense of direction and a clear sense of self, because you want to be continually facing harder and harder challenges. Now, of course, in the beginning, that's not going to always be as fun, but it still is important because that's getting you into the main storyline of your life, because you are the main character within it. You aren't some side character that is being directed by some outside force. You still have control over the things that you do and how you do them. And real quick, if you are enjoying this on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you leave us a like, give us a follow, ring the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new episode. It does help me out so much. But with that, let's get right back into it. Now, you also, as you progress and get out of the tutorial phase, you will be leveling up through trial and error. And that leads to the power of getting your second life. Because the fact of the matter is, failure is inevitable. You won't breeze through every single stage. There will be points where you hit the game over screen over and over and over, and it is frustrating. Trust me, it will happen. But the important thing to remember here is that even though you will come up to failure at some point or another, that in of itself is both reassurance that it's okay when things don't go right, and it's okay to want to continue to try again. Because if everyone was able to do it right 100% of the time, no challenges whatsoever, then we actually wouldn't have as much progress in our lives overall, because then there'd be no reason for us to grow. There'd be no growing pains that we'd recognize as, okay, I'm improving. I can feel it. I can see it. And now I can do better because of it. So again, you're not going to succeed every single time, and it may take you a couple of tries. But again, that's the power of that second life, where you get that little bit more knowledge. You're able to see the problem a little bit better, and then you're able to tackle it differently the next time. And then also giving yourself a second chance just in general is powerful, because whenever the game over screen pops up, you're always thinking, okay, wow, that sucks, but you can always hit continue. I will admit, though, there are points where the rage quitting just feels so much better, but you have to try again at some point or another. And ultimately, it doesn't always come easy to be able to say, okay, wow, I maybe messed up this big project at work, or maybe I let my team down for a school project. And that will happen at some point or another, most likely. It might not be intentional. It might be something that happens on accident, or maybe you could do everything right and something can still go wrong that's outside of your control. But if that happens, you have to be able to still pick yourself back up and know that you have a second chance. Either you ask for one, either you create one, or either you forge ahead and make one. And It's also important to know that it is okay to revisit the tutorial sections to power up and then try again, because there's no point in having all those resources available to you and then never making the most of them. Because when you have something that causes you to fail, you have something that makes that game over screen flash in your mind, then you have to think to yourself, how am I going to get the most items back? How am I going to recover my health bar? How am I going to recover my magic? How am I going to recover my willpower? It is revisiting the things that work. Because when you have a big loss, some people are able to just dive right in and do it over again, and that's fine. But in most circumstances, it's okay to take a step back and think, okay, what do I need to do differently? How can I prepare differently? What can I do the second time around now that I have my second wind? And what's my strategy going forward so I don't make the same mistakes again? How am I going to improve? How am I going to level up? And of course, again, tutorial sections are great for this because you have the training, you have the tools, you have the resources, you have the people. And this goes back to asking the right questions. And all of it is designed to help you get to that next stage. Even though you weren't able to do it the first time or the second time, you can still try again. And of course, that takes a little bit of humility as well to be able to say, okay, wow, I was not able to do that correctly. Let me take a little bit before I try again. And that is perfectly okay. You don't have to just rush headlong into something that maybe you weren't so happy about failing the first time. But just know that the tutorials are there to help. The trainings are there to help, and people are there to help. So that way you can try again and have it go differently the second time. And this then leads us into the idea of also the fact that your final bosses are going to change here. When I say final bosses, I mean like the hurdles that you are going to face at one point or another. But this also comes into the idea of infinite games and finite games. Quick and easy explanation of that is an infinite game is a game that you play just for the love of the game itself. You don't want the game to necessarily end, but you always want to get better. A finite game is one where there is an outcome that you're trying to achieve. There is a certain goal that you want to have happen, and once you hit that, then game's over. You don't get to play again. And so this is why when I say the final boss changes, it means that leveling up because you love it is a superpower in of itself. Now, Ganondorf, who is Link's main enemy, if you aren't aware of the Legend of Zelda franchise, he has been consistently changing throughout the ages, throughout the different iterations of Link that has gone through the games. And not only that, with every single change, that means there's a new moveset. There's a new power that he may have uncovered and unearthed and brought with him. But ultimately, because if you love just the process of getting stronger, that might be where the side quests come in. Maybe you cleared all the side quests and you are now maxed out and you are ready to take on anything and you tackle it head on. That could be in itself just a form of the infinite game, because it could be so long to just take all the side quests down and actually overcome them. But that's what also makes it fun, because you know that, okay, if I can level up as fast as possible, or if I can continually level up, then I'm going to be able to beat the final boss. I'm going to be able to complete this project with 100% certainty. I'm going to be able to make this change in my life, and that's because I love the process. Because you want to love just the act itself of learning to level up. It's also still important to recognize, though, that your enemies or the final boss themselves will actually get progressively harder. And that isn't a bad thing. That means you are getting stronger. You are getting more skilled. You are getting more strategic. You are leveling up. And so the hurdles you have to overcome are growing with you, because that is going to be what pushes you to do better, to do more, and to really hone in on the things that are going to make you great. And it's very similar to Calamity Ganon, where Calamity Ganon has a couple forms that you're going to go through, a couple forms that you're going to fight, and resources that sometimes you don't have access to, or don't have. Maybe you already beat them previously and now you have to beat them again. But the important thing is that because of this, that lends itself to being the infinite game. That lends itself to being part of taking the skills that you've acquired, taking all the knowledge, all the tools, all the powers that you've gained, and using them to overcome the hurdles as they grow with you. Because, sure, they're going to get harder, but that just means that that's going to force you to level up that much more. And that's a good thing because not everything is going to come so easily. And there will be easy wins in the beginning, but the final bosses, quote unquote, that you're going to face through multiple tiers and multiple stages of your life, they will change with you as well. And if you want to level up continually in your life, then it's important to understand that the goal is both to win and to keep on playing. That is what, again, makes infinite games so important. Like, this is why I love Legend of Zelda. This is why I love coming back to the games. I beat Ocarina of Time when I was in middle school, and let me tell you, that took so long. That took a lot of online tutorials too to get just through the freaking water temple, but no, it was a good time. I love just playing the game. I love getting to just revisit and then replay the game over and over and over again. Even if I don't always beat the game with 100% on like my taskbar or my progress bar, I don't clear all the side quests, but it's just the fact that I love getting to play. I love winning and beating the final boss, but it's just fun to explore. It's fun to learn and challenge myself and try different things. Same thing with Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. The fact that it's an open world and there's so much to do, that means I want to explore. That means I may put off beating the final boss just in favor of trying to do some stupid online trick that I saw that just for the heck of it seems so fun. You need to find those things as well within your life. You need to find the infinite games that are going to both drive you to want to win and to be the best possible version of yourself, and at the same time that you just want to keep on working on just because it's so much fun for you to want to level up. And that's not always easy to find, but there are infinite games out there that each and every single one of you are going to want to progress with and going to want to stick with. Now, of course, Link, as the main character of Legend of Zelda franchise, has a far more complicated life than any of us do. I mean, the dude gets reincarnated every generation, every 1,000 years or whatever it is, just to fight and beat up the same guy who cursed him in the beginning. It's a lot. But also, this doesn't stop him from having people around him to guide him and support him and to show him the small little joys you can have, like in the Ocarina of Time. You can go fishing just for the heck of it. There's, of course, a little side quest in there, but it's just these small little joys that you will find. And you want to make sure that you do the three things continually. You want to complete the tutorials throughout life that come with every single stage. You want to understand the power of a second life, knowing that you are going to get hit with game over after game over at different points, but you want to try again. You want to relearn and retry and overcome any situation that comes your way. And you want to focus on the infinite games versus the finite games. If you are able to find the infinite games that you want to play, both because you want to win them, but also because you just love the game itself, you are going to be so much further ahead than anyone else, because you are looking towards the lifelong process of just playing and winning. And of course, all this is easier said than done. But if you are able to focus on these three things in your life right now, then you are going to level up starting today. So that's my encouragement to you guys. Find the ways to complete the tutorials, find the power of the second life, and let yourself try again after failure that comes your way, and find the infinite games. Find the things that you want to do continually just because you love it. But with that, I hope you have an amazing day, you amazing people. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell so you know every single time I upload a new episode. If you're listening to us on Spotify or podcast app of choice, leave us a 5-star rating and give us a follow so you know every time I upload a new episode. It helps grow this show and share it with other people just like you, and I appreciate it so, so much. But with that, I will see you all in the next episode. Go out there and do great things. See you next time.